just got it finished last week, and they're sending over the sample so I can inspect it. So
Yeah, I don't think you're gonna have a problem selling a shirt. I think you're gonna have a challenge getting like the right folks to rep it hard.
yeah,
And
Hey, I already have an in for you. I already have an in for you. I'll have to talk to you about it afterwards. But
sure.
I love to intersect what I just saw with sports. And I know that sounds crazy, but just you're gonna give me some leeway, and I'll talk to you off the channel about it. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
sure.
would love to intersect that with sports. I think there's a lot of opportunity for something that creative and that modern, leaping into sectors, especially basketball and football.
Hmm.
So yeah,
I
fire
definitely see it too.
firebrand. Firebrand. I mean, firebrand, especially with the inclusivity of gaming. Gaming has done things that no one could ever have imagined to
Yeah,
intersect people who may not have intersected before. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm
it's
looking forward to that.
technically narrative with choices and intervention.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Leilani, how are you doing?
Hi, thanks for having me. I've missed a few classes, but I've been working to catch up by watching the recordings.
Leilani, you have not missed a single thing. What's happened is that we've continued to build, and we always leave it open for questions. So never feel like you're missing. We really want to make it when you come back in at any junction, we can just you just can kind of sit back in that space. Okay. And we answer questions about anything. Now, for today's class, Malcolm did some polling, and I believe we're going to be quite entertained by some of the things that he received from his poll, because I think we're going to get down into the meat and bones of some amazing schemas for you all to be successful in your businesses. And with that intro, I would like Malcolm to go ahead and move us forward. And other people, when they join, they can join. But again, this is why we do the recordings, because we give everybody an opportunity to learn at their own pace. And we're so grateful, like I said before, Ray and the Office of Civic Engagement did for us an amazing favor because they bought the land. They made Ray the property manager, and Ray allowed us to come in and be the shepherds at this time. So, if you don't mind, Malcolm, go ahead and do your thing.
thanks, Steve. Sorry, it says to avoid appearing, don't share your entire screen window. Share. Oh my God. All right, let me avoid the infinity screen. So today we're going to be going over this recipe book here. I call it the 8 key activities. I tried to make this as simple as possible. So confusing. I tried to make this as simple as possible. So first and foremost, you guys see this 8 keys activities and it's like a little food on the side and then like 8 steps in the middle. I'm gonna assume that's a yes. So
Yes, yes, I can see every single thing. I can see the activity, the tool, and the outcome.
all right, sweet. So the goal for today is we're going to take this recipe and we're going to look at 2 different companies. I'm going to pick on Satoshi today because he showed us an absolute fire hoodie. So how do we take this fire hoodie that he's created and create a system around building a recurring revenue model for him? So the first thing we want to do is realize there's 8 steps that every successful business is doing. Apple is doing it. Apple is doing it. Your small bank, you're just doing it. All these different companies are engaging in these core 8 activities. These core activities are going to be really your guiding star as an entrepreneur for the rest of your days. Because when you really dig deep into each one of these activities, you realize it's a lifetime's worth of work, each one of these. So that's not to be daunting. It's meant to show you. I like this template because if you eyeball it right, you can kind of see 2 things. One, the number of activities you need to do, and 2, roughly how many people you need to hire. So let's jump right into it. The first core activity in an entrepreneur's or in a recurring revenue business is going to be pricing and packaging. So in this particular case, as we're going to be using Satoshi, it's going to be pricing and packaging his designer hoodie. And in this particular case, there are a number of ways to go about pricing and packaging things. The simplest thing is to quickly look at your competition, see what they're doing, copy it, call it a day. But for more advantageous, more adventurous, I should say, entrepreneurs, this pricing and packaging can be a function of polling your audience to get the right price. It could be hiring an outside consultant to get you the right price. It could be, an informal, nudge in the shoulder and saying, hey, yeah, do this. But pricing and packaging is critical to whether it's a product-oriented company that sells physical goods or a service company. Second activity is acquiring clients. So right here I put 3 sort of generic channels to get clients. The first one is digital. So that could be the Instagrams, the Facebooks, the Google ads. Informal channel. So meeting someone on the street, going to a conference, and you grab drinks with some of their homeboys, and then they, plug you in. And then partner channels, which are, for lack of better words, going to be some form of a legal agreement or written agreement between you and another brand to sort of collaborate on bringing awareness to a particular product. The next key activity is going to be billing and collecting. I made them 3 and 4, but I like to think of them as the same thing, because a really healthy business understands that your collection process is really going to be the speed at which you can grow a business. So how long it takes for you to get $1 from a particular client is going to determine how long it takes for you to get, grow your business. I'll use a very extreme example of Apple. Apple's billing and collection process is such that they've already thought about how they acquire. Apple acquires most of its customers through partner channels, through AT&T and Verizon. So yeah, you may see some ads for the iPhone. Yeah, you may hear about some, informally about people's iPhone, but most of their money is through partner channels. So when it comes time to bill and collect, who are they billing and collecting from? You, the consumer? No, from AT&T. AT&T, you got to deal with the billing collector. They already collected their money from Apple. Excuse me, Apple's already collected and billed the carriers for them to carry the iPhone. So that's an example of thinking of billing and collecting and acquiring is almost like they feed into each other. So moving to the next section here, 5 and 6, nurturing and accounting. Let me take a step back. I realized that I have some in billing accounting, I put examples of Stripe and PayPal. The goal for this particular recipe book is to also drop lines on free tools to work. So I know I mentioned Apple and its capabilities, but as we think about starting out, there are tools like Stripe and PayPal that enable you to mimic that fluidity of billing and collecting and making sure you can see where your outstanding money is coming from. So that goes into how do we nurture and account for our particular audience. So nurturing is the process of making sure that your engagement with your audience is high. It takes about 10 to 15 touches to engage any particular customer, whether it be a consumer product, or a B2B product, as well as service too. So you got to need a tool that keeps tracks of all those different touch points. So in this particular example, I put MailChimp and ActiveCampaign as free tools that you can get started and keep track of, your interactions with your clients. But nurturing is not just email; it's also social media. It's also phone calls, handwritten notes. These are all forms of nurturing. And so with that nurturing comes accounting for what happened. So let's take a step back here. We're at step 6, and we're trying to account for what happened through steps 1 through 5. Now, the tools that it can allow us to do steps 1 through 5, we've already kind of outlined. But really, we need to figure out, okay, if we use something like a tool like Wave or QuickBooks, which can be free, how do I make sure that what I paid for, how I'm receiving income, how all of that is mapped to my accounting system so I can quickly account for these things and measure these activities. So you need to be able to measure how long it takes for you to get to fulfill a product or service. You need to measure how long it took for you to bill someone and collect and invoice them. You need to measure how many times you got to touch someone before they buy a hoodie. So these are all steps that need to be happening 1 through 7. And then the 8th step is iterating on all of this. Is taking steps 1 through 7 and finding the difference in things we can speed up or simplify or make more apparent to our customer. And the brands that do all these 8 steps and provide a level of transparency to their customers tend to win. So I'm going to use an example of, I'm going to use a personal example because I figured it'll help, piece this all together. So give me a second here. I'm going to show you guys a company called Zane Robe. So, wait. What's that? You guys see this? You see this Instagram page? Oh wait, it's still loading.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. All right, so Zane Robe is a company that sells men's fashion. Men's fashion, if you guys are not familiar, is extremely difficult to break into because there's, for lack of better words, there's these big gaps in product price and what that audience is going to be. So you have brands like Rick Owens and Cole Haan who technically sell men's clothing, but their client base is pretty narrow, but they have deep pockets. And then you have people all the way at the other end of like Wrangler jeans who sells to everyone, but their pockets are typically a little shallower. And so finding a men's brand that fits sort of that middle tier where it's street, but it looks designer, but it's comfortable, was really difficult. So I'm showing you their Instagram page here because I wasn't able to find a full-on case study for them per se, but I wanted to go through each step that we just talked about for this particular brand, from pricing to acquiring to billing and collecting. So I'll use myself as an example of how I went through these 8 activities for this brand. The pricing and packaging. Actually, I'm going to jump a step. They acquired me through an informal channel. One of my good friends in the city wore these pants to work. I saw him get negative feedback from my other coworkers or his higher ups. So I reached out to him and said, "Hey, what kind of pants are those?" He said, "Honestly, man, these are the only pants I get. They're called Zane Robe." So that's an informal channel. I didn't go to Instagram. I didn't go to any of that. That was an informal channel. So when I went to the prices and packaging for their products, I saw that it was $99 for pants that you see here like this. I didn't get these pants, but for pants you see here like this. So I'm thinking to myself, $99 for pants like this, that's not much different than $99 for pants at Zara, right? But Zara is quote unquote the more well-known brand. So cool with me. So now we're going to steps 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is when they won me over. All I had to do was click in my buy my pants or put my pants on my website, and I could bill, and they could bill and collect for me using PayPal. So it was pretty much 2 clicks in, and I was already having a shipping confirmation sent to my email. So now that I bought something from them, they collected the money from me. How did they get me to buy more pants? Because again, I bought 1 pair of pants like this. Well, they sent me numerous emails, not every day, once a week. One email was, I'm gonna see if I can find it. One email, it doesn't matter. One email was like, "Hey, send in your sale." And another email was like, "Hey, buy 2, get 1. So I clicked on that. Went straight to the inventory that they said that was buy 2 and get 1. And so now if we were to go into Zane Robe's account, this customer called Malcolm has completed all 5 steps. And we now have a way to account for how they came to our website, when they purchased something, when they followed their second purchase. And now we can make a note to ourselves as Zane Road to reach out to Malcolm in the fall again for this deal, because he seems to like that. So that was a short example of what I mean about a particular brand that may not be famous to you or aware to you, but they've completed all these 8 steps. So I want to take a pause here because I realized that I've been talking for about 6 minutes now and want to get some feedback, because I know Apollonia just joined and Leilani joined sort of midway as well.
I don't have any questions yet.
Okay, perfect.
Please go ahead.
I forgot the mirror effect. Sorry.
And you can ask your question. You can ask your question. We'll get the screen back up.
Okay. Well, my next product, the next example I was going to use is going to be eSpay, and I'm trying to figure out a way to show both tabs. I mean, give me a second.
I would say probably one at a time until, unless, because there might be some people on their mobile devices as well. So for video reasons, it might be best to show the one at a time.
Right. Okay.
And Apollonia, did you have a question?
Awesome.
Maybe it was Leilani and not Apollonia.
Oh, my apologies. Okay. Well, I'm just going to keep going on here. I'm going to use eSpay as another example. I know that we have different folks with some folks are selling services and some folks are selling products. I will do a service one after eSpay, but I just want to have different examples. So eSpay is another brand that I personally have used for, at this point, 10 years now. And I feel like they're another brand that's done these 8 activities properly. They may not call them these 8 key activities, but they are doing them. So the story here is going to be, just going in order. They priced and packaged the Nike Air Max to exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to show you guys their website, because I figured walk through exactly what I mean. So eSpay is a athletic company. The background here is they started out in Wisconsin, and their bread and butter was basically bulk equipment sales to teams. So they made a lot of their money off, a bunch of teams buying Under Armour or a bunch of teams buying Jordan. And so eventually they got bought by a company, I forget what it's called, but eventually they got bought by the same company that owns Foot Locker. And so I thought it was interesting to use them as a brand, because effectively Foot Locker and this brand are have the same supply chains and whatnot, but how they were acquired and how they were oriented is 2 different ways. So eSpay used to make their bread and butter off of sending out catalogs for people, and these catalogs were really well done. And they had at least for me, what got me was they had a men's casual section. And what I really liked about it, and unfortunately the website doesn't do it, but what I really liked about it was that they would dress up the man in different clothes. And they would show like an athletic look, and then like a kind of like a, I don't know, like sports casual, business casual look. So I chose this company because the way they used to price and package me is you see the normal price here for a typical Air Max. Well, when I first purchased from them, I got 25% off for some Air Maxes, and I really like Nike Air Max. So that one time 25% purchase, they must have figured it out or something, but they've been in contact with me since. So when they acquired me, it was through a formal digital channel. When they billed me and collected from me, I use my PayPal to pay for my Air Maxes. Now, every other year around the winter time or springtime, I get an outreach from them saying, hey, this is, would you like to buy the same shoes over again? I'm like, absolutely. I need to buy them at the same price and I get the same coupon. So they completed all 5 steps. They figured out which product that I liked and how to price it. They acquired me through the channels that they've spent money on. They build and collect it leveraging existing APIs through Stripe and PayPal. They nurture me using whatever drip campaign they have to keep track of my email, my preferences. And now when they account for how much money I spent at Eastbay, it's well over the $100-something that they initially priced me at. So every aspect of this journey for a shoe company or, buying shoes has been covered by this brand. I'm going to take a pause here because I figure I hope this resonates with you guys or has made you reflect on how you look at your current business. But I want to show this screen. I'm going to show this recipe again. If you would like, I can send it over to you if it makes it easier for you. But this recipe is going to be what you're going to be doing for the next several. If you're an existing entrepreneur, what you'll be doing for the next several years of your life. If you are a train the trainer, I highly suggest you give them this recipe because it really does help them orient themselves to what needs to happen on a daily basis. Leilani is asking me to copy a link to that. Yes, I will reply back to the calendar invite with this PDF, Leilani, so that way everyone gets it. Because I'm trying to think if I have everyone personally. So I'll just do that. At this particular point, I figured, since everyone's just come back from holidays, I think this is a good stopping point. The next class will be getting some feedback on whether there's motivation to do an Etsy class, creating an Etsy shop, or from my other poll. So I polled the class late last week, early this week. And the 2 things that came up was this recipe book. So what are these sort of the 8 steps and tools that I need to have in place at all times to scale and grow and measure myself. And then the other one was going to be on credit class. So how do I raise capital both from an informal institution, my mom, my dad, and a formal institution, a bank, a venture capital? So if you could, please, in the chat, tell me which one would you prefer, or we could do a continuing class of this. So this would be getting into tactics, explicit tactics for your particular business, and we can fill this in. Or we could do a class on credit flexibility because I realize, credit literacy is extremely necessary in order to make any of these 8 steps viable.
And while everyone is taking a look at those things and deciding, because we don't have it's like showing up to the game. Now you get to play, right? So because y'all are here, you're able to participate and make a decision on behalf of everyone. If you're on your phone, you can take a quick screenshot. You can go down into your lower portion of your screen, and there is going to be on the screen Malcolm is showing. There's going to be an opportunity for you to make that screen the maximum size. If you're on your desktop, you can go ahead and take a screenshot of this. If you're watching this via YouTube in a replay class, you can go ahead and pause the video here. You can take a screenshot to save as a photo on your desktop in JPEG or PNG or any form that is associated with the operating system that you have. There are some things that you all can do in the meantime. While you're deciding on this, you can ask yourself, what area of these 8 things am I lacking for my business? And what area do I need more supports in? That's pretty vital for you if you are the business owner. And then if you are a trainer, you should take a pause to make sure that each person gives you a take of which one of these 8 things do they think they need to start getting support on right away. And then we can always work to provide that support because this is about everyone winning at the same time.
Well, if there isn't any immediate feedback, I can imagine that folks are still transitioning away from from the holidays. Why don't we cut this class short? I don't feel like I need to drag things on; they're not necessary. And next class will be, I'll have 2 lectures prepared. It'd be either the credit course, like a quick crash course on credit and credit training. And the other option would be basically these 8 keys extended. So what is particular activities I need to have happen? How do I incorporate this into a business plan, etc. So if there are any more comments, questions, funnies, or need to knows, you guys have a blessed evening, and chat with you guys on Wednesday.